I'm back. I'm feeling better. My throat's still a little problematic, and I cough if I talk for too long, so I'm not going to talk for long anyway. But I have a couple things to discuss today. The first one's just a funny thing that crossed my mind today. Have you ever put on a sort of sound show for somebody you don't know, or somebody you know that can't see, and not because they asked you to, but just because you feel for some reason that you need to convey something to them? So here's what happened. I went to lunch today, and I had a sandwich. It was a good sandwich, and I came back to work, and I thought, well, you know, I need to wash my hands again. And so I went into the men's room. And our men's room has 2 sinks, 2 urinals, and 3 stalls. And one of them was in use, the stall, that is. Which is not a problem. Anyway, I just walked into one of the sinks, and I washed my hands, and dried my hands, and threw the paper towel away, and then walked towards the door. And when I started walking towards the door, it suddenly hit me. It's like, yeah, actually I could kind of use the toilet myself. But then I didn't want to be conveying the sound that I had come in, washed my hands, then gone to use the bathroom, then gone back to wash my hands, and left the bathroom. And I have no idea why that bothered me, but it just did. And so I walked all the way to the door, opened the door to the men's room, kind of, sort of made a shuffling sound with my feet, and I said, oh, excuse me. And then I walked back into the bathroom and went and did my business, and then washed my hands. And all entirely to convince the person that was in the stall, who I have no clue who they were, that I was a separate person than the person who came in and washed my hands first. People are weird. All of them. All people are weird. I am no exception. I'm heading to fetch the kids now. My dad and I had this joint bank account, and, well, really it was his bank account, but he put me on it. I didn't even know about the account. He just set it up without me. And the reason he did that, and he did a lot of things like this, was to make it easier for me when the time came for him to die. My dad was, I don't want to say obsessed with dying, but he used to go through every once in a while, and he'd have a little drill with me. You know, son, someday I'm just going to drop dead. So here's what you need to do. Which I think we all can agree is not a particularly fun conversation, and it's certainly not a fun way to start the conversation when you go over to visit, and you go like, son, here's where the money's in here, and then this, and then here's the PIN code. So, all in all, that was one of the contingencies that he had planned. He had his houses set up with deeds of transfer so that I wouldn't have to go through probate, and the bank accounts were all set up so that I would just be able to take control of them by and large. So he had this one account that I was on, and when he died, I haven't really done much with the account. I still have the account. I went down there, you know, I changed the address, I provided them with proof that he was dead. Not that I needed to do that, but I didn't want anybody, you know, using his stuff on my account. And that's been long settled. Long settled. My dad died in January of 2012. So imagine my surprise today when I got a letter from that bank addressed to my dad with something on the cover that said basically your insurance statement. Now, as far as I know, I claimed all insurance policies that my dad had, And, you know, sometimes these bank accounts have like these, oh, we'll give you $1,000 life insurance policy just for having the account. And I, yeah, got all of those too, as far as I know. So when this one came in clearly addressed to my dad with your insurance statement, I thought, this is, maybe there was one I didn't know about. I have to say, there for a couple of seconds, there was kind of like, ooh, do I have free money? I thought that. I also thought, well, this is just a kick in the nuts. But I opened it up, and what it was in fact advertisement. They were offering to sell my dad life insurance on his policy, or on his bank account, which he's not even really on the bank account anymore. Wow. Thank you, BBVA Compass Bank, for being completely and utterly devoid of any human empathy whatsoever. Thank you so much, you bastards. So the other day, my friend Lloyd in Australia sent me a video link on YouTube to a demo of a piece of software that turned your iPad into a second monitor for your computer. Now, I had seen these, I'd seen articles about them a few months ago, and I really basically poo-pooed the idea, because it just seemed like, that's kind of a crummy monitor, it's awfully small. It just didn't seem like that great of an idea. I mean, in a specialty niche or whatnot, but I didn't. But anyway, I watched the video, and the guy convinced me. It's like, actually, if you're doing something like I am right now, video editing, where video editing so definitely works better on two monitors, and if you're on your laptop, there's not a lot of screen real estate on a 13-inch MacBook Air for a video editor. So actually putting the viewers off to the other screen would be great. So I started to look at that app, and I saw people talking about the fact that that app was laggy because it worked over Wi-Fi. And so I tracked down to a couple that work over USB. With a MacBook Air, not a MacBook Air, I don't have a MacBook Air. My wife has a MacBook Air. With my MacBook Pro Retina, it's USB 3. So it's fast enough to drive a monitor, and the iPad Air is I think USB 3. So it seemed like a good match. So I went ahead and purchased it, and I've got it here, and I'm gonna fire it up for the first time. So let's take a look, and to do that, I'm gonna have to put you over there. So I've got my MacBook here, and I've got it running Final Cut. So what I did was, the app I got was Duet Duo, and that's not what it's called. Duet Display. There we go. And it's an app that you buy for the iPad, and it's $15. And then there's also basically a driver that you have to download that's free for the Mac. So I installed that, and I had to reboot because it installs at a low level. Now what I do is I start the app, which is here, and I get basically a blank screen, and it says connect to Mac. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this lightning cable, and I'm going to just connect it. It's already connected to this end. I'm going to connect it over here, and let's see what happens. It would appear that nothing is happening. Is nothing happening? Do I have to do something? Do I have to touch? Do I have to go beep? Do I have to wiggle the cable around? To wobble the cable around? Not a good start. Let's try terminating the app, pulling it up, swiping it out, hit it again. Ah! There we go. So, I don't know if you saw this screen. I wasn't looking. Sorry, I wasn't looking at you. I was looking at this screen flashed when it changed display configuration, and then this one brought up the secondary screen, which I can bring over here and show you. It's got a nice Yosemite background on it for the default. And I've got my menu bars at the top. Now, my understanding is, first off, my mouse is over here and it should move across, and it does. Let's see if I can do a little more. There we go. Some stuff on this window. And drag it across. Yeah. So dual monitor configuration is working fine. Now my understanding is that this is also touchscreen, and indeed it is. So I should be able to do stuff like that. That works pretty well. Let's bring up the monitor. Let's go to Final Cut and tell it to go into Windows and show the viewers on the secondary display. And there we go. And with the viewers on the secondary display, now I can scrub through my video and we can watch whatever we're doing. Which happens to be today's episode of Tedium Unlimited, which is kind of cool because you're actually seeing here what you saw before I did this, because it's timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly kind of stuff. Alright, well I'm gonna run a little test on this and see how it works, and then I'll give you a better review of it tomorrow. But in the meantime, remember to like, comment, and subscribe.